Salaspils, German, Kirkholm, Swedish, Kirkholm, is a town in Latvia, the administrative centre of Salaspils municipality. The town is situated on the northern bank of the Daugava River 18 kilometers to the southeast of the city of Riga. History: Salaspils is one of the oldest settlements in Latvia. Archaeological excavations of 1964 to 1975 in ancient settlements, burial grounds and castle mounds give evidence of very dense population of the region. At this time, the remains of 11,000-year-old reindeer hunters were found and 3,500-year-old remains of Baltic hunters, buried in hollowed-out oak tree trunks, were found as well. There is evidence that both Livs and Balts built hill forts in the region. At the end of the 12th century, German crusaders and merchants traveled up the Daugava, establishing missionaries among the Liv settlements. One important Daugava Liv center, the small island Martinsala, had a Christian church as early as 1186. So began the Christianizing and gradual subjection of the local Liv tribes. In 1206, in the early phases of the Livonian Crusade, the Liv chief Nako organized the first revolt against the German Crusaders but suffered defeat. The Latvian name of the Salaspils Island Castle is probably derived from Martinsala Island Castle, but the Germanized name Kirkholm from the Martinsala Island Church. Both names were used when referring to the territory on the northern bank of the Daugava. In 1380 the Livonian order built Salaspils Castle on the mainland, with St. George's Church by it. The castle was an important support point outside of Riga, and a small town grew up around it. Both the castle and village were destroyed in 1577 during the Livonian War. In 1605 the village was a site of the Battle of Kirkholm, in which forces of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth defeated a much more numerous army of Sweden. This was the biggest battle of the Polish-Swedish War. The battle took place near St. George's Church and about 9,000 Swedish soldiers were buried there. Two memorial stones in Salaspils commemorate of one of the biggest battles in Europe in the 17th century, in memory of the victory of the Polish-Lithuanian forces. Up to the second part of the 20th century, a magnificent 17th century military fortification near the Daugava, the Swedish rampart. The destroyed church was renovated in 1631, but later, in 1896 and 1923, rebuilt. In the 17th–19th century, the surrounding area of Salaspils was governed by the Salaspils estate, which was established near the destroyed Order's castle and was a part of Riga since 1630, and the Curtis estate, which was situated in the territory of present Livziem Street in Salaspils. A Riga-Daugavpils railway opened in 1861, and the new centre of the town developed near Salaspils station just opposite the Curtis estate. In the second part of the 19th century, military summer camps were organized in the territory of Salaspils, and an Orthodox church was built into a garrison. During the World War I, the front line was at Salaspils for 2 years, and many of the buildings and farmsteads, especially along the river, were destroyed. The infamous battles at Navsala and Marsa Jugla were fought nearby. During the First Republic of Latvia there were 3 parishes in Salaspils territory: Stopini, Salaspils and Dole. World War II. During World War II, the Nazis established the largest civilian concentration camp in the Baltics 2 km outside of the town. The Latvian historian Heinrich Strods and the German Holocaust historians Andrei Angrick and Peter Klein conclude number of deaths at Salaspils was 2,000–3,000 in total, including children. At the site of camp, a major monument complex in remembrance of the Soviet victims of Nazism was opened on the 31st of October 1967. There was also 2 camps for Soviet prisoners of war near Salaspils, both part of Stalag 350. The exact numbers of those who died at these two camps is the subject of ongoing debate, but is nowadays estimated about 1,000. Numbers mentioned by the Soviet historians that over 100,000 people were killed in Salaspils during the German occupation are nowadays classified as propaganda, as well as modern Russian controversial book Latvia Under the Yoke of Nazism, which, according to Latvian historian Ivars Stranga, is reviving Soviet-era myths that are long since deconstructed by Holocaust researchers. City growth in the 1950s and 1960s. During the late 1950s and early 1960s, various industrial enterprises and governmental institutions developed in Salaspils, such as the nuclear plant and 4 branches of the Academy of Science. Large multi-storied housing blocks appeared to house incoming power plant workers, many of whom were Russians. In a few decades, Salaspils transformed from a very peaceful rural settlement to a micro-Rhine-style town. Due to the rapid development, Soviet authorities ordered construction of the Riga HES and Riga Tech 2. The dam created a massive reservoir that flooded monuments of Salaspils. Ancient history. The last unsubmerged sections of old Salaspils have been preserved at Salaspils railway station. Demographics. Due to the industrial development of Salaspils, the population has reached 21,000. At the 2000 census, 42% of population was Latvian, 42% was Russian and 16% belonged to other ethnic groups. Geography. The National Botanical Gardens. The National Botanical Gardens occupy 129 hectares in the northern part of Salaspils between the railway and former peat extraction site. The National Botanical Gardens are famous for the richest plant collection in the Baltic states, as well as they have one of the biggest arboretums in the world. The gardens are open to visitors. The territory is used as a walkabout place by the inhabitants of Salaspils. Nuclear reactor. The reactor site is located in the forest, to the west of the Institute of Physics, in the northeastern part of the town. The reactor was operational from 1969 to 1998. The plant partook in neutron activation analysis and gamma irradiation for various materials. It was a pool-type reactor. It is now being demolished.